She only tried to wipe him down. But what happened under the blanket shocked her. The recording began with screaming, not a speech, not a warning, just the sharp, shaking voice of a frightened child. Please. Someone help us. The Galactic Council watched the hologram in silence. Dozens of alien species sat in a great silver hall, some with feathers, some with scales, others made of light and mist. They had called this emergency meeting to discuss a problem that now frightened even them. Humans, but not because humans attacked first. No, because someone else attacked the humans. And now the galaxy waited to see what would happen next. 1 week earlier, far away, on the green world of Vega 4, life was peaceful. Humans there were not soldiers. They were farmers, builders, teachers, and families who wanted a quiet life. They planted vegetables in warm soil. They played music in the evenings. They watched orange sunsets without fear. No one expected war. Not here, high above Vega 4. Hidden in clouds of dust, the Dravak Dominion watched the colony. The Dravak were a warrior race, born inside burning mountains. Their skin was like dark metal. Their voices sounded like cracking stone. And their leaders taught only one lesson. If another species has something you want, take it. They saw the colony's green fields. They saw the fertile land. They saw no visible weapons. To them, humans looked small, soft, harmless. The Dravak commander gave one single order: begin the takeover. The first attack came with no warning. The morning sky split open with fire. Landing pods smashed into the earth like falling stars. Metal walkers marched across fields. Homes burned. Families ran. Humans shouted to one another, but it was chaos. Inside the colony's main square, Dravak soldiers surrounded the people. Their leader, a tall creature with glowing red eyes, stepped forward and addressed the crowd. This world is now property of the Dravak Dominion. Kneel, obey. Your resistance will mean nothing. The humans did not kneel. They were terrified, yes. But they were also human, and humans do not break as easily as they appear. A mechanic named Jonah Hale grabbed a wrench and fought back. A school teacher threw stones to protect her students. Farmers used cutting tools as weapons. They didn't fight like soldiers. They fought like people protecting their home. The Dravak commander watched them with disgust. Why fight? You are weak. Jonah spat blood and answered with a shaking smile. Weak doesn't mean done. That sentence was the first crack in the Dravak's confidence. By sunset, the humans were overwhelmed and captured. The colony burned quietly. Smoke rose into a purple evening sky. The Dravak believed the battle was finished, but far beneath the colony, a young communications engineer named Lena Ward crawled through collapsed tunnels, her arms shaking from exhaustion. She carried a tiny, battered emergency device, the old beacon, something most colonies no longer used. She reached a power port and connected it with trembling hands. Static filled the air. Her voice was small, raw, desperate. Vega 4 colony. Invaded, civilians taken. Please, anyone. We need help. She hit send and collapsed. The beacon pulsed once, twice. The signal traveled into space like a whisper in a storm. Most of the galaxy ignored it. Many feared the Dravak. Many did not want to get involved. Many believed humans could not last long anyway. But one ship heard the call. Not a warship. Not a fleet. Just a single small vessel drifting near a mining route. HSV. Resolute Human Designation. Colony Repair Ship. Crew, 12 engineers. Purpose, fix broken buildings. Repair stations, build solar panels, no cannons, no bombs, no fighters. But when the crew heard the message, the room fell silent. Their captain, Commander Arden Hayes, listened with closed eyes. She had seen war before. She had seen loss, and she knew exactly what that child's scream meant. A crew member whispered, "Captain, that's the Dravak Dominion. We can't fight them." Arden opened her eyes. There was no fear in them, only something colder, something older. "We are not going to fight them." Everyone stared. Confused, she continued, "We are going to make them regret ever touching a human." No one argued after that. Back on Vega 4, the Dravak Dominion believed the humans were fully controlled. They did not notice faint lights flickering under the ground. They did not notice power lines shifting. They did not notice that every machine on the colony had a second system hidden inside it. A human system, a repair system, a control system. The Dravak did not know, when humans build something, they build ways to take it back. Night fell. Suddenly, the colony lights went out. Generators shut down. Doors locked themselves. Communications turned silent. The Dravak commander roared in confusion, and then a message appeared on every screen, every speaker. Every helmet visor, a calm human voice. Commander Arden Hayes, return our people. This is your first and only warning. 1 ship, 12 engineers. The Dravak laughed. They laughed so hard their armor rattled. They did not understand. They had not met human determination yet. They were about to, and this war was only just beginning. The engineers arrive. The HSV Resolute did not look like a ship that could start a war. Its hull was scratched. Its engines were old. Its crew wore jumpsuits stained with grease and machine oil. Yet inside that ship, every person moved with calm purpose, as if they had already accepted what had to happen. Commander Arden Hayes stood at the central console. The holographic map displayed Vega 4, glowing red where Dravak forces had taken control. Her voice was steady. We do not fight them head-on. We dismantle their strength. Piece by piece, quiet, precise, human, no one saluted. Engineers don't salute. They simply got to work. Meanwhile, on Vega 4, the Dravak soldiers patrolled the colony proudly, believing victory was absolute. But strange things began happening. Their helmets glitched. Their weapons jammed. Lights flickered in hallways. Power doors refused to open or closed on their own. A Dravak technician hit the side of a control screen in frustration. Human systems are weak and unreliable. The others laughed until every screen in the compound turned on by itself. A symbol flickered, 3 white lines crossing into a star, the mark of Earth's engineering core. Then came a voice, calm, cold, clear. Commander Hayes, hello, Dravak Dominion. This colony is under human protection. You may leave alive, or you may stay and learn. Why, that was a mistake. The screens went black. The Dravak commander laughed loudly in the courtyard. Humans are trying to frighten us with words. Pathetic. But his laughter stopped. When the ground trembled, the Resolute enters the atmosphere. The ship descended slowly, too slowly, as if it did not care about being seen. The Dravak scanned it. Not a single weapon detected. The commander sneered. They came here to die. But he was wrong. They came to break him. Inside the ship, the engineers prepared. No guns, no bombs. Just tools. Plasma cutters, code injectors, gravity calibrators, portable fusion relays, things meant for fixing, not destroying. But tools do not care how they are used. One engineer, a quiet man named Ryan Cole, checked his equipment twice. His hands were steady, but his jaw clenched tight. This colony was where he grew up. The Dravak had taken his mother. He asked softly, Captain, permission to retrieve the prisoners first? Arden placed a hand on his shoulder. We get them all out. Every last one. No human left behind. Ever. Ryan nodded. They were ready. Landing. The Resolute touched down in the ruined colony square. Silence followed. No guns fired. No soldiers marched. 12 humans simply walked down the ramp. The Dravak surrounded them, weapons raised. The commander strutted forward, confident, towering over Arden. Your ship carries no weapons. Your people carry no weapons. You are already defeated. Why come here? Arden looked him in the eyes. There was no fear, only truth. Because you made a mistake. You hurt our people. And humans do not forget or forgive. The commander grinned. And how will you stop us? With metal sticks and tool belts? Arden smiled. But it was not a kind smile. Yes, with tools. The first move, Ryan stepped forward silently. The Dravak commander raised his blade in warning. Ryan did not flinch. He simply pressed. A small device to the ground. A pulse spread through the colony. Every Dravak weapon locked. Every armor system froze. Every powered machine became dead weight. Dravak soldiers struggled, panicked. Their weapons were useless. The commander roared in disbelief. What did you do? Ryan answered quietly. We built this colony. We wired every system. You are standing in our house. The second move, another engineer, Mira Tao, tapped her wrist device. The containment camp doors opened. The human prisoners stepped out, shocked, coughing, crying. Families ran to each other. Children clung to parents. A whisper spread among the rescued. They came. They actually came. Some dropped to their knees and wept. Arden looked at the Dravak commander. Humans do not abandon humans. The third move, the Dravak commander tried to swing his blade. It was heavy now, too heavy. The armor that made him powerful now trapped him. He fell to one knee. Arden stepped toward him, slow, steady, unarmed. She stopped only an arm's length away. Her voice was no louder than a whisper. You believed we were weak because we looked peaceful. She leaned closer. Peaceful does not mean harmless. The commander trembled, not with fear of death, but with something worse. Understanding. Message to the stars. The Resolute broadcast a transmission to every system in range. To all who would harm humanity. We do not start wars, but we finish them. The Dravak did not retreat yet, but something had changed. The Dravak commander looked into the eyes of those 12 humans and realized he was not facing soldiers. He was facing a species that learns, improvises, survives, and never stops. The war had only begun, but the Dravak were already losing. Humans don't warn twice. Night settled over Vega 4 like a heavy blanket. Smoke hung in the sky. Buildings flickered with failing power. The colony was quiet, but not peaceful. The Dravak soldiers stayed where they were, frozen, their armor unresponsive, their weapons locked uselessly in their hands. The shock from the engineer's EMP pulse had shut down nearly all Dravak tech, but the Dravak Dominion was not known for giving up easily. Somewhere, high above the planet, the real danger was waking. The Dravak High Command learns the truth far away aboard the flagship Obsidian Fang. A message arrived full of panic. Human interference, colony resistance, weapon systems offline, request reinforcements. The Dravak War Minister listened with a deep growl in his chest. His eyes narrowed, glowing like molten embers. Humans. Again. The Dravak did not fear many species, but humans were unpredictable, sometimes peaceful, sometimes violent, always determined. The War Minister rose from his throne of black alloy. Send the 7th Fleet, he ordered. Burn that colony to ashes, the officer hesitated. Sir, the colony holds civilians. I said burn it. The Dravak did not believe in second chances. They did not understand that humans do. Back on Vega 4, Commander Arden Hayes and her engineers worked quickly. They were not celebrating. They were not relaxed. They were building, repairing, rewiring, reinforcing, turning the colony itself into a defense system. Children slept in makeshift shelters. Parents helped build barricades. Rescued prisoners moved water and supplies. Every human worked with quiet focus, because every human understood. This was only the beginning. Ryan Cole wiped sweat from his brow as he repaired a power relay. Captain, the Dravak will return, he said. Arden nodded without looking up. Yes, and when they do, we will be ready. Mira Tao adjusted a holographic display, showing energy levels. We don't have enough weapons. Arden finally looked at them. Her gaze was calm, firm. Sure, weapons are one way to fight. Intelligence is another, and humanity has always survived by being smarter. The Dravak commander breaks the Dravak commander, now forced out of his armor by his own failing equipment, struggled helplessly against the very metal he once trusted. He sat guarded under the remains of the colony square, glaring up at the humans. You can disable our machines, he growled. But you cannot break our will. Ryan crouched in front of him. There was no anger in his face, just cold truth. We don't need to break your will. We will make your empire break itself. The Dravak commander spat in the dirt. Humans threaten. Dravak conquer. Arden stepped forward. Her voice was quiet. No, humans. Warn. She leaned closer. And we have already given our warning. The Dravak commander froze. He remembered the message. The 8 Words, return our people. This is your final chance. Humans do not warn twice. The sky begins to change. A child pointed upward. Look. Lines of light streaked across the night. Sky, like silver knives cutting through darkness. 7th Dravak fleet was arriving. Ships, large enough to eclipse the moon. Everyone in the colony stopped. Working, mothers held their children. Fathers stood still. The wind itself seemed to pause. Ryan whispered, barely breathing. They brought a fleet. Arden exhaled slowly. Good. We brought a planet. The Plan Mira activated the last sequence on the console. From deep beneath the colony, machines awakened. Old mining systems. Terraforming equipment. Energy relays built into the rock. The Dravak had taken Vega 4, but they never learned what Vega 4 really was. A human-built living machine. A colony grown into the land. Arden's voice carried through the colony. Everyone inside shelters. Power seals in place. Phase 2 begins. The colony lights turned blue. Ground panels slid closed. Metal shutters sealed windows. A hum filled the earth. The Dravak ships formed a war formation in the sky. The lead ship broadcast, "Humans, surrender immediately, or we will erase this settlement." The colony itself responded, a booming voice from every building. Every speaker, every surface. No, not one person, not one hero. All of them. Every human. Speaking together. The first strike, the Dravak fleet charged its cannons. The colony activated its planetary shield, an experimental system never meant for war, but humans are known for using things in ways they weren't meant to be used. The first Dravak blast hit the shield, and the shield held. The ground trembled. Lights flickered. People held their breath. But the shield held. The colony refused to fall. The message sent. Across the galaxy, Commander Hayes transmitted one final broadcast. Open frequency. Galaxy-wide. To all who watch. We did not start this conflict, but we will finish it. Leave Vega 4 now and live. Stay. And learn why humanity is feared, Silence answered. Not a single Dravak ship retreated. They believed humans were bluffing. They always believed that. Arden looked at Ryan and nodded once. Ryan launched. The final system code. Deep under the earth. The colony awakened fully, and Vega 4 prepared to fight back. When humans adapt, the first blast from the Dravak fleet should have shattered Vega 4. It should have burned the colony to dust. It should have ended the humans, but it didn't. The shield held. Silence followed. Long, heavy, and unnatural. Even the wind seemed afraid to move. Humans stood inside their shelters, breathing slowly, waiting, listening. The Dravak soldiers outside stared at the shimmering blue dome of light with disbelief. A weapon strong enough to level a mountain. Had done nothing. This was the first moment the Dravak realized something important. They had made a mistake. The colony awakens under the soil of Vega 4. Ancient machinery, built by human engineers decades ago, came fully alive. Mining drills adjusted. Geothermal cores powered up. Old terraforming systems shifted into defensive mode. The entire colony was now a living fortress. Commander Arden Hayes stood in the operations center, surrounded by her team. Only the pale blue glow of the shield lights illuminated the room. Ryan Cole watched power levels rise on the display. We can hold the shield. Maybe 10 minutes. Arden nodded. 10 minutes is enough. Mira Tau looked up, eyes wide. Enough for what? Arden's voice was calm. For humans to adapt. The Dravak fleet strikes again, in orbit. The Dravak warships recharged their cannons. The War Minister himself stood on the bridge of the flagship Obsidian Fang, staring at Vega 4 with burning rage. Increase power. This time, there will be nothing left. The ship's dorsal cannon glowed blinding white. It fired. The beam struck the shield. The ground shook violently. Inside shelters, children held onto parents. Walls rattled, dust fell. But the shield held again. Cracks began forming across its surface. But it did not break, Mira whispered. The colony is holding together through sheer will. Arden didn't look away from the controls. That's what humans do. The human countermove: humans don't match strength with strength. Humans match strength with strategy. Ryan began typing commands into the control console, fingers moving faster than fear. Transmitting the override now, miles away. Antennas hidden in the colony hills pointed toward the sky with precision. A quiet signal pulsed up to the Dravak fleet. Not a bomb. Not a virus, a firmware rewrite. Human engineers had studied Dravak technology for years, not to copy it, not to use it, but to understand how to break it. The signal hit the Dravak ships. Systems flickered. Navigation screens glitched. Energy readings scrambled. The War Minister slammed his fist against a console. What are they doing? His second-in-command looked pale. They're rewriting our targeting sequence. The War Minister's eyes widened. They are what? The second-in-command swallowed hard. Humans are reprogramming our fleet. Humans don't adapt slowly. They adapt now. The shield falls down below. The colony shield began to dim. The blue glow faded. Cracks widened. Energy drained. It was dying. Arden watched the readings drop. Prepare for shield collapse. Mira's breath trembled. Once the shield falls, we're exposed. Arden shook her head. No. Once the shield falls, they are. The Dravak fleet, now struggling under corrupted targeting systems, prepared to fire again. They believed they would strike the colony directly. They didn't realize their weapons had new coordinates, their own ships. The moment everything turns, the shield shattered. Light fell away. Vega 4 lay open. The Dravak fleet fired. But instead of hitting the ground, the beams turned sideways, hitting the ships beside them. One Dravak destroyer exploded. Debris scattered across the sky. Another ship collided with a cruiser. The fleet was now fighting itself. Panic spread through Dravak ranks. Our systems are compromised. Override! Override! We cannot. Humans have control. The War Minister felt something new. Not anger, not confusion, but fear. How can they adapt this fast? His second-in-command answered, voice hollow. Because humans had to. What the Dravak never understood. Humans evolved on a world full of storms, predators, earthquakes, volcanoes, disease, darkness. Humans survived ice ages and fire ages. They crossed oceans with no map. They reached space with machines held together by hope and stubbornness. Humans do not wait for perfect conditions. Humans become the conditions. The final message Arden activated a transmission to the Dravak fleet. Her voice filled every bridge, every helmet. Every command channel, slow, steady, unshakable. We told you to leave our colony. We told you this would end badly. You ignored us. She paused. The fleet burned. Silently in the sky. Now you learn why the galaxy should not fear human weapons. Her voice lowered like thunder. It should fear human minds. The signal ended. The sky burned with broken metal and falling flame. The humans stood together, unbroken. The war was far from over. But now the galaxy knew something it had once forgotten. When humans adapt, they do not survive quietly. They rise. The human mind, the real weapon. The battlefield in space was still burning when the real war began, not with cannons, not with claws, but with thought. The Dravak fleet was damaged, confused, systems tangled and misfiring. Yet they were not defeated. The Dravak were war-born, spine-hardened, vengeance-driven. They regrouped. Ships shifted formation. Flames cooled. Voices steadied. The War Minister stood at the center of the flagship's bridge, breathing slow, deep breaths. Humans used trickery, he growled. They used machines. They used deception. His second-in-command said nothing. The War Minister clenched his fists. We will show them real power. The order was given. The fleet began recharging their weapons manually, bypassing the hacked systems. The Dravak believed strength always wins in the end. They did not understand that humans don't win by being stronger. They win by being smarter. Back on Vega 4 Commander, Arden Hayes walked through the colony as teams worked around her. Some repaired shield relays. Some comforted crying children. Some prepared medical supplies. Some stood guard near the captured Dravak commander. Everyone was working. Everyone had purpose. There were no soldiers among them. Only people. but they were becoming something more. Ryan Cole was on his knees in the dirt, hands buried in a tangle of cables, face dirty with ash. A child approached him quietly. "Mister, are we going to die?" the girl asked. Ryan paused. This girl had been born here. This colony was the only home she had ever known. He placed a hand on hers. "No," he said softly. "Humans don't die quietly. We climb, we change. We find a way." She did not fully understand his words, but she believed him, and belief can be a weapon too. The Dravak commander learns the captured Dravak commander had been forced to sit without his armor, his claws bound. He watched humans move, work, talk, plan, not with panic, not with chaos, with focus, with unity. He could not understand it. Dravak soldiers were raised to obey orders. Without orders, they froze. Humans adapted instantly. "Every problem created leaders," he whispered to Arden as she passed him. "Your people are farmers, builders, not warriors." Arden paused. She looked down at him, not with anger, but with truth. Every warrior is just a builder who lost their home. The Dravak commander's eyes flickered, and for the first time, he looked unsure. Human memory. The ancient advantage inside the operations center. Mira pulled up an old database, Earth history. She displayed wars from centuries long gone. The siege of Troy, the fall of the Aztecs, the defense of Stalingrad, the resistance of Warsaw, the frontier battles of Mars, the outer belt. Revolt images flashed, cities broken, people starving, worlds burning. Yet humanity kept going. Pain did not stop them. Loss did not break them. Fear did not silence them. Mira spoke quietly. Every time humans were pushed, we adapted. We changed. We became harder to kill. Arden nodded slowly. The Dravak think we're new to suffering, but suffering is our oldest teacher. The plan. No warrior would expect the colony shield was damaged. The engineers could not repair it in time. There were too many Dravak ships. Another direct strike would destroy Vega 4, so Arden gave an order that no Dravak mind could have predicted. Prepare evacuation tunnels.
"We abandon open ground," Ryan blinked. "We run?"
Arden shook her head. "No. We move the battlefield. Humans do not always win by attacking. Sometimes they win by changing the rules." The Valley of Stone, a deep ravine, stretched near the colony. Ancient. Jagged walls of layered rock and reflective crystals. Sound echoed there. Energy scattered unpredictably. A nightmare battlefield for any army. Perfect for humans. Children and elderly were moved first.
Families followed.
Engineers carried tools, not rifles. The colony buildings were left standing. Empty, silent, a trap. Mira set the final signal beacon. If the Dravak enter the colony, everything activates. Arden nodded. Let them believe we have fled. Let them think we are afraid. Because fear in humans does not mean surrender. Fear in humans means preparation. In orbit, the War Minister saw the colony go quiet. No movement. No life signals. The humans had vanished. He laughed. They flee. "They are broken," he gave the command. "Land the ground forces. Take the colony. Burn everything." The fleet descended. The Dravak believed they were walking into victory. They were walking into human planning. And the mind of a human defending home is the sharpest weapon in the galaxy. The second battle, the spring trap. Vega 4 looked empty. No humans, no voices. No movement, only hollow streets, damaged buildings, and smoke twisting slowly through the air. The Dravak soldiers marched into the colony with heavy steps. Their boots crushed broken glass and bits of shattered rooftops. They expected crying, begging, hiding, but there was nothing. The commander of the landing force raised his chin. The humans ran. They learned fear. Yet his voice did not sound proud. It sounded confused, because something felt wrong. The air was too quiet. The wind didn't move. The shadows seemed to be watching. Dravak do not understand silence. Silence is not natural to them. Dravak war is loud, shouting, crushing, overwhelming. But humans have learned to fight in silence. Silence means preparing. In the ravine, The humans were watching, hundreds of them, families, engineers, elders, teens, all hidden deep inside the valley of stone. The ravine walls rose high, jagged and sharp, layered like old bones. Bright crystals grew inside the rock faces, reflecting color in strange angles. When sound moved here, it bent. When light passed, it fractured. When energy fired, it ricocheted. It was a place no Dravak strategist would ever choose to fight. But humans did not choose this world. They adapted to it. Commander Arden Hayes stood near the ledge, her voice steady as she addressed her people. We fight to protect, not to destroy. But if they will not leave, we end the threat now. There were no cheers. Humans did not celebrate war. They simply accepted what must be done. Rian Cole checked the detonator units along the ravine wall. Miratau monitored the signal jammers. Others distributed makeshift weapons. None of these people were soldiers, but they were ready. The Dravak spread out back in the colony. Dravak soldiers searched every room, every building, every basement. They found only quiet. They found no surrender, no bodies. No fear. The Dravak commander scowled. They hide in the rocks. We hunt. He motioned toward the ravine. Troops began marching toward the valley. Thousands of Dravak warriors. Armored. Armed. Angry. The ground trembled under their movement. Little did they know. The valley was part of the colony's original terraforming system, and the system was still connected. The Trap Springs Ryan's voice came through a quiet whisper channel. They're entering the ravine. All units ready. Arden raised her hand. Her voice was barely louder than the wind. Wait. The Dravak soldiers reached the center of the ravine basin. Some paused, their instinct finally whispering, something is wrong. The Dravak commander shouted, Continue forward! Arden lowered her hand. Now, Ryan pressed the trigger. The ravine awakens. The ground beneath the Dravak moved, not like an earthquake, more like a heartbeat. The valley floor was not just rock. It was reinforced geotech, shaped by human machines decades ago. Hydraulic plates shifted. Stone walls flexed inward. The ravine closed like a jaw. Pillars of crystal ignited with mirrored light, scattering beams in every direction. The Dravak fired their weapons instinctively. Energy bolts flew, but the valley bent the beams. Shots ricocheted wildly, hitting Dravak soldiers. Weapons, armor, their own fire became their enemy. Chaos exploded. Humans move, Arden gave the second signal. Go. Humans emerged from high ledges, behind boulders and from narrow tunnels, not running, not rushing, controlled, precise, quiet. They did not try to overpower the Dravak. They targeted weapon joints, armor seals, power nodes, breathing vents, the places. Engineers know Dravak armor was strong, but armor is made of parts, and humans understand parts. Mira's voice cut through the comm channel. Pressure waves rising. Terrain will shift again. Arden responded. Hold position. Don't get low. Stay above the collapse lines. Because humans learn fast. They learn from terrain, from experience, from instinct older than language. The Dravak commander breaks. The Dravak commander tried to rally his troops. Hold formation. Fight! 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 But his own soldiers were scattered, stumbling, slipping on crystal shards, blinded by fractured light. Their strongest advantage, brutal, focused force, meant nothing here. The commander roared, swinging his blade toward Arden. She stepped aside, not with speed, but timing. Humans don't need to be stronger, they just need to be correct. She tapped the joint behind his knee. His armor failed. He collapsed. Arden spoke, not cruelly. This is where you learn the difference between strength and understanding. The fleet watches helplessly high in orbit. The Dravak fleet saw the battle unfolding. They saw their ground forces being dismantled, not by weapons, but by thinking. One of the fleet captains whispered, They are not warriors. They are something else. The war minister's claws dug into his throne. What are they? His second-in-command answered quietly, They are humans. And for the first time, the Dravak understood fear. The final message: never threaten humanity. The battle in the ravine ended with silence, not the comfortable kind. The heavy kind. The kind where the air itself waits to see what happens next. Dravak bodies lay scattered among glittering crystal fragments. Human survivors stood breathing slow, steady breaths, not celebrating victory but acknowledging survival. Commander Arden Hayes lowered her weapon tool. The valley lights dimmed and the ground settled back into its resting shape. Ryan Cole wiped dust from his face. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from what had just been proven. Engineers had defeated warriors. Minds had defeated force. Humanity had survived, again. The fleet watches. From orbit high above Vega 4, the remaining Dravak ships hovered in silence. They had expected to hear cheering from their commander, to receive reports of human bodies, to be told that victory was complete. But they received nothing. Only one transmission came from the surface, and it was very short. One word. Done. The War Minister felt something cold crawl up his spine. Not fear of defeat. Fear of understanding. The Dravak had always believed humans were weak because they had no armor, no claws, no natural weapons. But humans had something far worse. Memory. History. Adaptation. Will. The message to the Galaxy Commander. Arden Hayes stood before a communication terminal, surrounded by her people, dust and dirt still on their clothes, bruises fresh, exhaustion clear in their eyes. They looked like survivors. They looked like truth. Arden activated the open-channel broadcast, sending her voice to every listening system within 5-star sectors, civilizations, trade stations, pirate dens, peace councils, war fleets. Everyone heard her, even those who preferred not to. Her voice was calm, steady, not loud, just undeniably real. To the Dravak Dominion, you came to our home without cause. You harmed our families. You believed we would break. A pause. Not for drama, for truth to settle in. Humans do not break. The air in the room felt charged. Arden continued. We are builders. We are healers. We are explorers. But when you come for us, when you force us to defend what we love, her voice hardened. No anger. Only certainty. We become something you are not prepared to face. Back on the flagship, the War Minister clenched his hands until his claws cracked. End the transmission. Now! But it was too late. The message spread faster than any ship could fly. Across trade routes, into military networks, through civilian talk streams, across the entire region of space, the truth was out. The humans had stood. And the Dravak had been defeated. The Choice Arden spoke again. Dravak Dominion, your fleet is damaged. Your ground forces are gone. Your war is over. Rian looked up sharply. Arden wasn't threatening. She was offering something the Dravak had never offered anyone. A chance. You may leave this system now, she said. We will not pursue you. We are tired of war. The War Minister bared his teeth. Mercy was weakness in their culture, but he had just witnessed the cost of attacking humans. His second-in-command spoke softly. Minister, if we stay, we die. Something inside the War Minister broke. Pride could not save him. Strength could not save him. Anger could not save him. Only leaving could. Withdraw, he ordered. The Dravak fleet turned and left. No final shot. No last roar, just retreat. The stars swallowed them. Aftermath. The colony of Vega 4 did not cheer. They did not dance. They did not sing. They simply exhaled. Mothers held their children. Friends embraced. Engineers sat down on stone and dirt and cried from relief. Arden looked at her people. Not with pride, but with love. We are alive. We rebuild now because humans always rebuild. From ashes, from ruins, from nothing. Rebuilding is the human superpower. Across the galaxy whispers spread. Did you hear? The humans beat the Dravak. No, not beat. Outthought. Don't provoke Earth. Do not touch a human colony. Ever. Fear changed shape. Not fear of human weapons. Fear of human spirit. The final words, recorded into galactic history, Arden's message would be replayed for centuries. We do not start wars, but we finish them. Remember this, we are peaceful until you threaten our own. And if you do, you will learn what every world before you learned. Her eyes seem to look through every listener. Never mistake humanity's kindness for weakness. End of story. Phi moral. Humans survive. Humans adapt. Humans rise. If you enjoyed this video, like this video, subscribing, and clicking the bell icon to stay updated with fresh content every day.